Now that led us into the creation of a new protocol. A new protocol was the OSI protocol. Now, you may have heard this differently, and the OSI protocol is often referred to as the OSI reference model. They're actually one and the same. And the reason why it's probably been presented to you before, this might be the first time you've seen it, which is good because I'd like to be the first one to introduce you to it. But if you've seen it before, trust me, you're going to see it again. But what you may not have heard here is the reason why. The reason why you see this reference model over and over and over is because of the fact that the U.S. military, the Department of Defense, figured out that this is the best way to do it. And what they did is they did something called the Gossip Edict, which is the government OSI proposal. And it said that by 1994, all DoD purchased equipment would correspond to the OSI protocol. But the way they worded it was kind of odd, and it opened up a loophole for other vendors that were selling competing products, particularly TCP/IP and IPX and AppleTalk and other other routing and communication protocols, if you will. It allowed them to say, well, this is how the OSI protocol does it, the Open Standard OSI protocol, and here's how our protocol does it. Now, all the other protocols that were in existence in the world and things I've played with through my career, stuff like Banyan Vines and DECnet and Apollo and the list goes on and on. I even remember teaching these same Cisco courses where we covered AppleTalk and IPX. Right? Matter of fact, the person who certified me to be a Cisco instructor was one of the people at Apple at the time. He's currently a Cisco employee, but at Apple at the time when they wrote AppleTalk. So I got, hands-on with the gentleman who actually, was on the team that wrote AppleTalk. He was talking about, Steve Jobs explaining to the team how, things should appear on the early Macintoshes when, there were changes in the network. If a printer disappeared, he wanted to see it right away. The chooser needed to show that the printer disappeared. And the kind of philosophies that went into building that protocol actually came straight from Steve Jobs. So these kind of things had to compete with the OSI protocol, and very rarely will you ever have any interaction today with that protocol. And the only time you'll end up interacting with OSI protocol-based devices is if you're working for a carrier and you're dealing with central office switch telephone switches, which still today run some of the old OSI protocol stuff. Most of the stuff you're going to deal with today from a protocol standpoint, as far as a host-to-host protocol, is going to be TCP/IP. Now, again, going back to this government OSI proposal, the idea was that every piece of gear purchased by the DoD with response to communication was supposed to be OSI, meaning we're all going to run the OSI protocol. TCP/IP wasn't going to be around anymore, and we're all going to run OSI. Coincidentally, this is kind of a piece of trivia here, the only other protocol that's legally allowed to be run on the internet is the OSI protocol. Granted, try getting an OSI address, and an NSAP address is the type of address you get. Try getting an NSAP address from your carrier, and they're going to look at you like you're from some other planet. Even the well-schooled, high-level engineers who might even know a little bit about OSI will look at you like you're from some other planet, because the internet only runs on TCP/IP, right? No, it did run at one point, and there's certain parts of the internet that actually still support OSI routing. But back to my point here.